about it, because if we had, let's say, the family of a lot of people. Thank you. Good morning, today is Thursday, March 25th, 2021, and we're here for a work session, and as always, we're gonna start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tim, could you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tim. Today, I only have one announcement. After 2 successful execution of vaccinations, one at the Riverhead Senior Center and one at the Riverhead Health Center at the county center, many of our most vulnerable population, our seniors, were able to get vaccinated conveniently and close to home. Although we will welcome a 3rd round of supply at this time, we are encouraging eligible residents who have not received the COVID-19 vaccination to call the New York State Vaccination Hotline at 1-833-NYS-4, the number 4, VAX, V-A-X, and I'll repeat that. 1-833-NYS-4, VAX. Okay, moving forward on to our first discussion. Today we have our CDA Director concerning matters surrounding transit-oriented development. And Dawn, can you please come forward?
Tracy's here.
And we also have Tracy Stark, our IDA Director. Good morning.
Gotta put you on camera.
I guess so. I would have worn a better outfit.
What do you mean? You look great. Come on, Tracy.
I got the humid hair going on.
Those of us with
Yeah.
straight hair want curly.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I emailed you all last night the proposed RFQ for the TOD, and I think we've, just to recap on how this got to where it is. We looked at the railroad station lot. We thought it was an underutilized property. This was identified in both the BOA and also the parking study that was approved and adopted by, both which were approved and adopted by the town. The BOA was 2016, the parking study was 2020. We applied and received a grant from New York State Empire State Development for a TOD strategic plan. We received that grant. The IDA partnered with us on that grant. We then retained Nelson Pope and Voorhees as our consultant to work on the plan, draft an overlay zoning district, and then an RFQ for the project. So we're at the tail end of this project now. And so we're ready to let this RFQ, we've been working on it for a very long time. But I think it really kind of encompasses everything that we're looking to do and get there from a developer. So the plan is to enter into a public-private partnership with a developer for that 2-acre parcel, which has 237 parking stalls on it currently. The hope is that we get proposals from private developers, because this is an urban renewal area, a federal opportunity zone, and everything we've done for the past 30 years hasn't worked there to reduce the blight and draw investment to the property. So this RFQ we hope will develop, in conjunction with the new zoning, draw a developer that will bring you a creative solution to the problem there, which will redevelop that parking lot as a mixed-use project. We don't know what they'll propose. We have ideas and thoughts, and they're outlined in the RFQ. We know developers have really great and creative ideas, so we left it open to that. Obviously it has to be in conformity with the zoning, and one of the main, thrusts of this is to get additional public parking. So we have the 237 spaces. Obviously, we don't want to give that up. We want to leverage that lot to get more for the taxpayers without taxpayer expense. So,
Right, one of the important goals was to address the perceived parking issue downtown, and to create what all the studies have pointed to as a center point for alternative transportation. And this is, you know, an entrance to our downtown area that
Sure.
has been blighted with disinvestment and misbehavior for a number of years. All the studies tell us this is what we need to do, and we finally created a plan that will hopefully encourage investment and investors to do that, making something sustainable and beneficial for the community. There's so many benefits to trans-oriented development environmentally, density-wise, beautification-wise, so
Yeah,
this is a really forward step for the town of Riverhead.
Finally,
Finally.
yes. So we wanted you to have a look at it, ask any questions that you have. And then we're hoping, you know, tomorrow we have an event scheduled to launch this thing. I think we have to ratify a resolution at some point. So we can do that either at a special meeting or at the next meeting. But I drafted the resolution, it's been submitted into the system for you to look at, but basically just authorizes the issuance, publication, and posting of this document, and so we can get it going as quick as possible.
and I'm sure we're gonna get some great ideas. You're right,
Yeah, we're
I've seen
excited.
recent plans on this type of efforts outside of Riverhead, and they're amazing, they're beautiful.
Yep.
It doesn't burden our school system
Yep.
normally, and so we look forward to seeing what, you know,
And look,
Ex-
an important piece
aspires-
to this is the town and this board being unified in pushing this forward and being able to leverage its own property to create its own destiny for the town of Riverhead. You've got more control because it's your property. So, our property, the town's property. So it should hopefully work out to benefit everybody.
And I think if we get these proposals, the plan is, and it's outlined in the RFQ, to vet those through a committee, narrow it down to a certain group, and then have those groups publicly present to the board and, you know, to the public, obviously, so that you can get that input and, you know, choose the most suitable project and
yeah,
developer.
public input is very, very important, and I'm glad that this town board is constantly working and ensuring that the public public input is put forward, and they'll come up with some good ideas.
Yeah, we're excited.
Also, and I'm glad that you have some ideas, so we look forward to moving this forward, and thank you.
The work
So-
you guys have done has been like phenomenal, because really starting at the Railroad Plaza becomes the gateway to downtown.
Yeah.
And that's eventually the redesign and engineering work that'll be done at Railroad Plaza when it takes us right down to eventually where we're gonna have our town square.
Yep.
And I think this is just, it's an entire encompassed plan of all of downtown, and so how you guys have put together and receiving the grants and the work and designs, it's been phenomenal.
Well, the
So
town board
it's a
support
key,
too.
Yeah.
key component to the future of Riverhead. I'm overly impressed by everything that I've read and everything you guys have presented.
Great consultant, Nelson Pope and Voorhees helped us with this. They also did the BOA study too, so they're,
Right.
you know, very
Right
well
online.
versed in Riverhead situations and issues. But, you know, the town board being
Yeah,
all
supportive,
behind it
yeah.
has been huge, because
It allows us to do our work.
really, it's great. So we're, you know, the downtown stuff is off the hook, and we're really looking forward to making some real significant improvements in how it functions and serves the public.
And
Well,
these-
certainly
So-
been a
so
blighted
just-
area.
go
I
ahead,
mean,
Tim.
since I was a little kid, it was a blighted area.
Right.
And it's kind of only gotten worse over the years, so it's really, really important for this to take place. Dawn, the property size had some differences based on how large the property was, correct? The larger the parcel, the more you could kind of do, or the more you were eligible for.
Yes, that's correct. So they're targeted parcels, as you will remember in your outlining from the TOD plan. Only larger parcels will be able to be developed in a more dense way. The smaller parcels, you know,
Right.
unless they were assembled by, but it has to be, you know, either 50,000 or over 60,000 square feet. And there are, I think, two or three at most parcels that even
Could
would
provide for the density.
would provide for the maximum density under the new zoning, yeah.
So
But
just
at
a
the
few things. They, first of all, it is very exciting. And I don't think it's also the timing of how it's happened. I mean, this is work that's been going on a long time.
Yes.
You've been working on this a long time, things have sort of been just coming together to bring us this point. One grant we got in 2018, right?
The TOD strategic plan grant, yes, we got in
And that,
2018.
the 2018 grant got us started. I also think what's happening downtown, I mean, I'm very pleased with the pattern book, the Town Square project. So these things have transpired over several years and they're really coming to be. And let's just say that I agree, the downtown, the railroad station area is so perfect because, well, it's close to our downtown. I even like the quaint look of the train station there.
Yeah.
It is an area, it is a better area, I think, for density, because you also have the courts there. I don't disagree about the density, I'm not crazy about the 75 feet, that's a little much for me, hopefully we don't go with that too much.
Well,
We don't go with that.
The only way that happens is if you get a significant community benefit, and that was one of the real great things that we worked into that plan, and the zoning is, it's not as of right, that's only with a real significant community benefit at the board's discretion, so you'll get to have a lot of sight. And-
Well, that's good to know, and
Yeah.
I did always say that I didn't mind more density over in that, I'd prefer to see more density there than down by the river.
Yes.
I think it just fits in better, and
Without a
I'm
doubt.
pleased, because I'm not crazy about 75 feet there. But I think it's all very exciting, I like all the work that's being done, I'm proud of the work that we've been able to do, and thank you guys.
Certainly.
And Dawn, I just want to mention that, you know, in February, when we started seeing the pandemic, you guys never stopped working. And the town square was developed, its initial seed was planted in February. And when you approached me and you said, I have a vision, and it was, everyone around us, things are closed and people are panicking and there's a lot of fear. And we sat down for 3 hours, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we just started talking and talking and talking, and you walked out of the office and you said, I'm excited, I'm able to finally move something like this forward.
Yeah, we were.
And you called in your staff, and they worked throughout the entire pandemic, and soon we're gonna be closing on that town square that you have. And I wanna thank you for doing that, especially under a pandemic, and within a year,
Well,
you
yeah,
progressed.
you know,
And
thanks to the
Tracy, I
board.
know you were a critical component of that, and we've spoken many times on this, and it's great to see a vision, and it's great to have employees like you, who are, by the way, very, very professional along the way. And
Well,
thank you very
That's
much.
nice. And
So
I
if you
think,
guys
yeah.
could just go over for the public, just because it is a really public process, if you could just go over briefly what the RFQ is asking of people.
Sure.
I think that would be good for the community to know, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Not at all. I just wanna get-
And it's also online, and we're having a press conference
Yeah, I have a
tomorrow.
press conference tomorrow.
And it'll be
That'll
online
describe
for the
a lot.
entire
I think
public
this is
to
a good
see.
venue to just,
I just wanna
It
get
is.
down to that.
That's a
just
good
kind
idea.
of let them know what we are asking for in the RFQ, and then we can, I'm sure it'll come up again
I think we
tomorrow.
can read this little section right here. I just wanna make sure I got the right section. My little laptop here is like a little jumpy.
We'll have to speak to Bill Rothar about that.
It's great, believe me, this thing,
He's in the
we,
room.
we ordered these things
she's
before
got one.
before the pandemic. This was the best investment we ever made.
Tim and I have the antiquated ones.
It's great.
And it's bulky, right?
Frank.
It's so
Yeah, these are so
fantastic.
slim.
All right, project concept.
The liaison to the IT department, I will let them know.
Tell him.
I'm just gonna, there's some bullet points on page 6, you know.
Got that, Chip?
Yeah,
So-
just if we could let people know what the RFQ's asking.
Yeah, so we're basically requesting a developer make a proposal to create a mixed-use development that will meet the needs of Riverhead residents today and the future while supporting existing community services and facilities. Incorporate structured parking, including subsurface parking, into the overall redevelopment concept to replace the parking spaces that exist on the site today. Provide ample parking for any proposed new development, and ideally provide additional parking to support demand for uses in the vicinity. Create a development which integrates the components of a multimodal transit network. Reinvent surface parking into a regionally significant destination in a vibrant and mixed-use setting. And build upon community support for redevelopment established in previous outreach efforts and collaborate with the town to consider any code refinements needed to achieve the vision of the property and create a feasible and sustainable development. Those are the the real,
I don't know what page.
And there will, the
That's on
public will
6.
have time
Page
to,
6.
yeah.
Right.
we're gonna have a public hearing on this and
Oh, there's a
eventually down the
process.
line. This is just the beginning
Yeah.
of you're here to inform the public and make it available to them. But there'll be public hearings, many,
Yeah.
along the entire project, and it's great to have the public, have their input, and we look forward to it.
So I want to thank both of you for your vision and your passion and your hard work. This is turning out really nice. And I think it's critical to have a hub of transportation that we can access downtown. I think that's really going to be transformative going forward.
That's the plan.
Yeah, which really
Right.
can be the vision of whoever comes forward, their creativity. We're really trying to encourage creativity and sustainable vision within this document, asking developers and investors to, you know, bring us something new and sustainable and environmentally friendly.
Absolutely.
And the pattern book principles, we also incorporated into this document so that those design elements will be part of whatever you receive and as a response.
And Dawn, to keep the public informed, which is our vision, and it should be for any government, I think we should possibly have a link online, and as things develop, people can follow the process.
Yes, we were talking
So-
about that, similar to what we're doing with the Town Square project. I think we're gonna chat about that and see with Chip, maybe see what we
Yes.
can do to
Yeah, so-
to put more work on Chip.
I know, Chip, so can we,
Chip's a hero.
can we have a discussion
He really
in next day or so with Dawn and Tracy and see how we're gonna link this for the entire community so they can see it and follow the process, because that's exciting.
And that's a good idea. I do want to mention, since you brought up the pattern book, that we do have a member of the Downtown Revitalization Committee who's coming up next. I want to thank her. Also, you're saying it's on page 6 of the document. You want to just say where the document is and what it's titled for people who might want to open it
Yeah,
and look
so
at it?
we're not gonna
Although I
post
think the
it.
link is also a good idea.
We're not gonna post the link until tomorrow,
Okay,
because you are going to launch this tomorrow.
perfect.
Effectively. So the title of the document is Town of Riverhead Railroad Street TOD redevelopment. It's dated March 24th, 2021, and that has anything a person would, it also includes the draft zoning. The TOD plan is online already, so you can look at that if you're interested, and certainly contact any of us if you have any questions.
And the bullets that you went over are on page 6.
Page
you
6 of
said.
that document, yeah.
So before you go, let me just thank you both for getting us on the right track.
Very good. We've been working
Okay.
on it, we're working on it. Yeah, and
Okay.
thanks to the board again for backing us on this
Yeah.
stuff. The unity of the board and moving it forward is fabulous.
It lets us work.
It really does. We really are able to, you know,
To get things
put our
forward for
noses
you.
to the grindstone, so thank you so much.
Overly impressive.
But we can take 6 months off now if you.
No, I won't approve it.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Actually, like I said, we don't even think it's like coming to work. It's really just really great to be
No.
part of town hall.
You're on a roll and you're not stopping.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
directing that.
Thank you.
Thank you again,
Thank you.
and be safe.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
our
know what,
next,
leave them, Tracy.
Oh, and I have a draft reso I printed out for you guys. I'm
You
just,
guys want to come sit
I
here?
want it, if you could.
Tracy, you want- okay,
Pass it
we're going
around?
to use
Yeah,
that
later.
chair.
I
That's
got it.
okay,
And then I think we're gonna need 3 signatures.
all
on
right,
this.
thank you, Dawn.
No problem.
Our next discussion item, we have the Riverhead High School here, 2 PTOs, Mary Mackey and Diane Tucci, who's gonna make a presentation on a recent effort that they completed. And we look forward to, I gotta thank you, Catherine, thank you for giving us the other further information, since now we
Yes.
understand the project itself.
So
Oh,
I'm
geez,
just gonna,
thank
so
you.
I'm just gonna jump in here. I believe it's the high school parent organization.
Yes,
And Mary, you are president?
Yes, I am.
And Diane, you are
co-vice president.
Okay.
I share it with Joyce
Oh,
Hobbs,
there you
yes.
That's always wise.
That's how you divvy up the
good.
teamwork.
And
Aren't you like president for life? I think
Yes.
so.
Well,
I
I
think
ended,
so.
I ended a couple of months. My last,
well,
from
if you're president
2008
for
to
life,
now.
you have to keep having more kids.
I'm good, thank you.
Diane, that's a great shirt.
So I,
Blue wave.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
I do want to
Middle
mention,
school PTO
Yeah.
project.
I do want to mention that they're going to be talking about something that's for our seniors. And let's face it, the seniors this year and the seniors last year have come up upon challenges that no one expected. And it has been very difficult, and they haven't had the same experience that seniors have been able to have in the past. So it's really a good idea for them and for the entire community, for us to all rally and do things for them and make them feel good, and I know that that's always your intent.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, why don't you tell us about the project?
So thank you for having us today. I am Mary Mackey, president of the Riverhead High School PTSO. I've been involved in the PTSOs throughout every building that my twin boys have been to ever since Riley. They are seniors this year, so this hits us very personally with their senior year being the way that it is. So we came up with Light Up Riverhead, Diane Tucci. I want to thank the board, Diane, Joyce, Ally, and Teresa. And we came up with this idea, Light Up Riverhead. And what it is are these lanterns that are made of heavy plastic. Okay, we personalized each one for you.
Yes, we do
Everyone
have
gets
one for each of you,
Thank you.
which is why it was so important for us to actually come here
Yes,
today.
we wanted to come here to present them in person.
So everyone can see it.
That's yours.
Mr. Hubbard,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I also have two special ones, one for Dawn Thomas and one for Carol Scafani, because they're two unsung heroes, or
Yes.
well-sung heroes in town hall, but
Yep, well said.
they're two of my favorite people. And I'd like to say good morning to everybody as well, and Councilman Ralph Bell, we have not met yet, so it's a pleasure to actually meet you today. So,
Diane Tucci,
everybody
co-president.
got one?
Yes.
This is the white with the blue. We do have white or blue. I just want to briefly tell everyone what the PTSO does for anyone that's not familiar. PTA is another version of PTSO. It's Parent Teacher Student Organization. And we support administration and faculty with events, fundraising. We support administration with policies, procedures, and fundraise to have events and activities for the high school, 9th through 12th grade. This particular project is kind of focused towards seniors, but we really want to get the community involved and the town involved. And we would love nothing more than to have the town and the school district come together as a community. I think it's very important for everyone. So we have a couple of ways that they can be purchased. They are $10 each, okay? And they have a tea light inside, a flameless tea light. We were hoping that maybe we could dim the lights so that we could actually see them lit. Could we dim the lights?
Devin's gonna take care of that.
You guys switch those
Gotta switch
tea
your
lights
candle
on.
on.
Turn it on first.
Turn it on. Just a little switch at the bottom.
That was, if any of your tea lights don't work, we
Okay.
have some extras.
Can these
So
go
that's
out?
the tea light option. We also have a light up option where you can purchase the string of lights and multiple luminaries if you'd like. See, this is the white with the blue. This is the white with the blue. Okay, so they absolutely look beautiful. So we're hoping to light up Riverhead May 7th when it gets dusk out, and they can be placed on a porch, in a window. We have businesses that are
Can you turn on the lights?
also going to support. Yeah, you can turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, now we got the full darkness.
Thank you very much. So we're hoping to get businesses involved. That's why we wanted to give everyone here one so that you could support it, light them up on May 7th, and support the seniors. We also have an event going on right now called Adopt a Senior, where you could give us a little gift to a senior, and this could certainly qualify for that if you wanted to adopt a senior and either get it personalized or not. Extra personalization is $5 if you want to have someone's name on it.
We're
So,
hand applying all these, by the way.
yeah, so we're putting them on by hand.
Oh, well, thank you.
They went cheap. I'm like, this is like $25, but Mary made a bargain. Each
Yes.
one of those letters I put
We are
on my
all
hand.
volunteers in the PTSO, so we're all volunteers, and we love what we do. We do this for the kids. We love them, we support them, and again, this year has been more challenging than ever because they lost pretty much the whole year.
And their junior year, and that was
And
kind of,
their
the
junior
seniors last year, you
Right,
know, got
yeah.
some of the senior experience, but the seniors this year lost that whole junior year experience of proms, you know.
Yeah, right.
I was
Uh,
happy to hear that the proms are going on.
Yes,
That's
and we have a PTSO meeting
Tonight at 7 to Zoom.
so people are welcome to tune into that too.
We are working on some events right now with our security director as far as CDC guidelines, Department of Health guidelines. The prom is scheduled, junior prom and senior prom, of course, with following the guidelines, and we'll see as the time approaches. But we do have the halls booked, and also the senior picnic, June 11th. We're working very hard to make that safe, and we have the site, Long Island Sports Park, he's been absolutely wonderful. So there are some events coming ahead that we're working towards, so. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Well, I know that Tim and I really like these because we were Blue Waves,
That's right.
Yes.
right, Tim?
And Dawn Thomas's daughter graduated last year, so I think she's gonna be excited to get, you'll have a lot of people here in town who'll have kids or kids that have gone.
We have a press release also.
And so I'll jump in just for a second,
Go ahead,
because I
Diane.
feel like the product presentation.
Yes.
So we brought some stakes if anybody wants them. So I'm gonna put them like in the windows. I have an office on Main Street, so I'm gonna put mine up in the windows, and I think that's a great idea for businesses on Main Street. There's so many, these things are like the coolest thing ever. I'm so in love with them. You could put a real candle in them. You could put sand or rocks in them and hold them down, but they also come with these 6-inch long stakes if you want to stake them into your yard. So they have a 10-year warranty on the actual, these are meant to be outdoors. I'm gonna take them camping and put them around my campground. I can picture my kids using them as like night lights and taking them to the dorm room. It's just like, we think this is the coolest thing ever. So they're durable. And the whole idea on May 7th is really that, we're gonna take all the orders, we've gotta make all these things, order them, put them together. We'll distribute them 2 days at the high school, but I also offered, I'm in the East Lawn building, that for businesses who may wanna pick them up or anybody wants to come get more, I can leave them on my porch, COVID safe, and people can get them. But we're excited about this. So on May 7th, I'll get them all delivered, and then everyone just turn them all on.
Light up Riverhead.
We'll light up the
Light
town
up
blue and
Riverhead.
white for Blue Waves. You guys all know I'm like, I come with like the good positive vibes and connecting community, and I just want them all to see how much we love these kids. They're our future. So-
Absolutely, and I do have to say that both Mary and Diane do amazing stuff for our community and never stop, just go, go, go.
Yeah, I don't think I sleep.
And both,
I might a little bit.
both of you
You
are,
don't.
every time I'm looking, both of you are involved in
You
some
too,
kind of
Diane.
project.
Thank
And what's cool about these, I know it's really pretty sometimes when you'll see like for the Relay for Life, we always did bags.
Similar, yes,
But
they were very thin.
These
These
will
are
last a
very
long time, and
heavy.
even if the candle goes, you
Yes.
can get another one and put it in there,
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really versatile. So, and we're selling them in sets also of 12 or 6, and working directly with the manufacturer. And you can daisy chain these lights, and once you go on the website, we'll be popping more pictures on there. But you could put 100 of these on your yard if you want the little light bulbs, or a quarter of a watt, so 4 light. It's so low energy and great, and they're recyclable, and you can leave them up as long as you like. Just I haven't taken down my senior 2020 sign from last year. Like, I feel guilty just, every day she walks out and sees it in the yard, and so, anyway.
My son Cameron's in 11th grade, so I will make the donation, because he's already got his personalized one right here with his name.
Excellent. Great. So these are our gift to you,
Likewise,
so,
my daughter Lola is in 11th grade, and
There
I
you
will
go.
make
There
a
you
donation.
go.
Thank you very
Well,
much
the
for your
website's
support.
Light Up
Thank you.
Riverhead, there
Thank
might
you.
be some glitches on it. We came here, we're announcing it to the town board first. I thought it would be a nice connection,
Yeah.
because town hall and school district, we know that people really want them working together, so.
Yes,
We
we do.
wanted to tell you about it first, so you're the first ones hearing about it,
Awesome.
besides anybody who saw us walking in with it today.
And
So-
Diane, I want to thank you for this initiative. Concerning Adopt a Senior, I have adopted a senior. They're also selling masks, which I'm wearing, okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of great
They're
stuff.
actually very, very good. They're adjustable. And it was to support the PTO. I will be ordering more, 'cause
Thank you.
I just constantly give them out. And, we have, and Catherine is the liaison, we have the Riverhead School District. With Tona, we have a meeting at least every month, 2 months.
Yes.
And they're
Wonderful.
starting to become more frequent, and
Wonderful.
it's great to open lines
Good
of
to hear.
communication.
Mhm.
And I know you guys have your budget coming up, and, we have to support. And concerning the seniors, my heart goes out to them. They didn't get that great year, that teamship, that sportsship effort in together, and this is something that's gonna light them up.
But we've come up, you know, and the light of it, the positive side, we've come up with all these great new traditions, the drive-bys, the parades, the senior drive-by at the high school last year. I mean, you could hear the horns going across the
And
town.
you have a drive-by. You wanna talk about that?
Mary would know more about that than,
That's gonna be in June.
Yep.
We wanna spread out the events, as much as possible, because now, from here until June, we are very busy planning, an event a month. So we have the Adopt a Senior lawn signs are being launched the second week in April. We may release them early, but right now, it's the first week, of April, they'll be released, so the lawn signs for seniors are being ordered now through Fisher Sign Company. You can go on his website and order one if you'd like. You can have them personalized, or there's a generic class of 2021 senior sign if you want to donate. We're also putting together the banner that the class of 2020 had last year with the entire class on it. So we're purchasing that for the seniors. You can donate towards that as well. So we're working on the senior picnic, it's June 11th, like I said. We're planning that. That'll be an outdoor event, but all guidelines set by the CDC and the Department of Health will be followed. Also, the pickup for these lights will be 2 days at the high school, arranged safely, outdoors, again, following the guidelines and working very close with our security director.
oh, we need volunteers.
We need volunteers.
By the way, I'm visioning like 1,000, like I'm visioning like, you know, I think big. I'm seeing like thousands of these across Riverhead and go like, you should.
No, I
We
think,
need volunteers.
I think you're gonna
Always,
get a lot of people.
always need volunteers,
exciting.
right, Ken?
Absolutely.
And before I forget on the Adopt a Senior,
Parent, is one of our parents.
on the Adopt a Senior thing, and one thing as a PTSO we wanted to address last year is not every senior got adopted last year. So we worked hard to discreetly trying to get a list that we want to make sure every single senior
Right.
gets a light, gets adopted, you know, to the best that we possibly can. And that was a really, really important thing for us when we started this school year, just to make sure that
Yeah.
nobody was left
You
out.
also
And
have
that-
a superhero parade, right?
No,
Drive-by?
that's a different, that's for
That's
us.
something different.
That's for a person in our community, but.
Yes, that's a different,
Yes, on the
organization.
Adopt a Senior, that was my biggest concern, just as a teacher.
Yes.
And I, of course, have kids in these senior classes that I taught.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure everyone got adopted, but I don't know how you figure it out, but it would be, I would certainly want to adopt
Well, one of the ways that on this particular
several. I
project.
want to make sure that everybody gets adopted.
Yes, and we feel the same. And on this particular project, when people order on the website, and if you're a business and, you know, like I'll purchase some to be donated, there's a way that you can say who you're purchasing for, only for our own records. So if you're purchasing them for your daughter or son, we
Right.
know that they've kind of been taken care of. It's gonna be a little bit of a tedious task, but it's really important for us to,
Diane, is there a phone number anyone can call? Because sometimes people might not, might have a senior who doesn't have the access to a computer.
That's true.
And they might have a
you think I
grandchild
should
in
put
the
to the school
school.
district maybe to,
The main office knows they can contact me, but I'd be happy to give out my cell for that purpose,
That's,
or my email. They can contact me.
how about both?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
It is being discreetly done for certain purposes of adopting certain, certain seniors in certain situations. But we have a little over 200 adopted now, and we have 468 senior class. So we're a little, about halfway there. But it was one thing that we talked about as a board, and Diane also, was the importance of every student get adopted, at least once.
So it's not just done through social media?
No.
Good.
No, we're working behind the scenes with administration, with the senior list.
Great,
so
I
that-
did talk to you about, I know there are privacy issues.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the problem.
and that's why we're
Exactly.
gonna do the best that we can. And
Exactly.
even if we need to personally drop them off at their houses, if
Yes.
we're able to,
Yes,
we will exhaust ourselves to make sure that, every single kid,
every,
I mean, they're
at
all
least
important.
once, at least once, yep.
Well, all the work you're doing is great. I
Thank
actually,
you.
I went to the senior parade last year, which
Yes.
I loved, because
So did I.
I got to see students I hadn't seen since second grade, so it was really nice. Thank you both for reaching out to me. I was glad that I was able to get you.
Yes, thank you for
On to
Thank you
talk
for
with
having
us.
us.
facilitating this for
Thank you
us
for
for
having
today,
us.
and to
Thank
the whole
you.
town board and,
Happy
Yeah.
for you to be able to talk to the entire board about it. I know
Thank you.
everybody's excited, and of course, now they have gifts out of it.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll go, when I leave, I'm gonna go visit Carol, I'll leave the little bag of steaks and, if anybody wants them, to put
Yeah, I
in their
could probably
yard
do
or.
some steak, I want it
and-
out.
Of course, you all
I
know
want
how to get in touch with
everyone
me,
to
so
see
if
it.
you need anything, let me know.
We know
So.
where to find you.
You all know
Diane.
you all know where to find me.
Clearly, you guys are really busy.
Yes.
I will give Catherine my information. If anyone wants to
Okay.
contact me about any questions that you
Great.
may have, the Adopt a Senior, the parade, I can answer all of that.
Well, I
so-
do have a few questions, so I will be
Sure,
calling you.
absolutely. I will
Great
give
effort.
Catherine my information.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank
Yeah.
you, ladies.
Great
for the
effort.
hard work you put in for this.
Ryan Suffolk, Sean is looking at mechanical.
And
And you all
thank you
have
for
a-
the gifts.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I know,
We were so
right?
excited to do this.
This will be up tonight.
I'm not one of these crafting people, the other ladies are, so when we talked about this, I'm like, listen, I'll organize,
Okay.
it's what I do, but crafting, and then the names weren't coming off, so I'm like, we're just
Let
gonna
us
get
know if you
signed.
need anybody for
It's good.
donations.
Thank
So
you
these
so
are
much.
truly made
Thank
with
you.
love.
So let's just say let me just say to the community, let's light up Riverhead
Let's
starting
light up
May
Riverhead.
7th.
Blue and white.
May
Let's
7th.
show our community pride and show our seniors that we love them, so.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a
everyone.
great day.
Diane and
Thank
Mary,
you, ladies.
Diane and Mary, know that our office is always open.
Thank
So stay, you have my email, and
Yep.
I think you have it.
Yep.
Just, they definitely stay in contact, and
Okay.
again, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
we're
much.
gonna keep
Okay.
coming up with great ideas as long as we can, so.
Okay.
Thank you for
We
your
appreciate
support.
the support.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank
Now you gotta go
Have
to
a
work.
great day. Now I gotta go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. For the next discussion item, I'll ask the town engineer, Drew Dillingham, to come forward. Drew?
Do you have presents?
And this,
From the waste department?
he's here concerning,
Somehow Tim does not look
Are they
excited.
pillows?
he's here to, have a presentation of a solid waste management program that he's been working on for some time.
I'd just like to say something. I based all of
I think I
my
know what you
presentations
said.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
on Tim, on how Tim's gonna react.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I'm the barometer.
Yours,
Ooh, we do have presents.
All right.
all right. So I've been given,
This is cool.
The best present is a check, right?
I wouldn't see it from my house.
When we get a grant, right?
nope. All right, so the purpose of my agenda item is to request that we publish and post this draft solid waste management plan. It's been pre-approved by the DEC meeting.
Great.
It's been reviewed and approved by the DEC, but now we have to have a 45-day publish and post period. I plan to, on the 35th day, have a public hearing, and then allow 10 days for written comments from the public. When that's complete, we incorporate the comments, send it back to the DEC, and they go through a full review again. So hopefully we won't go back and forth too many times. But once that's done, two things have to happen. One thing is, we eventually have to hire a recycling coordinator. And the second reason is, if you go to the pocket in the back of your report, pull out that plan, this schedule, it's called an implementation schedule.
Right.
Everyone should have plenty of room since we're distance. So in 10 years, this schedule has to be completed. Once it's completed, then all the programs that are shown will run in place continuously. So again, 10 years to set everything up, which I think is aggressive, if you look at the amount of programs and the work that we have to do. I'm sure the public's going to have comments, and I hope they're productive to make this better. That's pretty much the 30-second version, which I was allowed.
You could take longer.
Like, the history is 1990 was our last approved plan.
Wow.
In 2009, we tried with a consultant. We were the town was the coordinators, and we never got past one submission to the DEC, and the plan just died. New regulations came out in 2018, I believe. Part 360. Everything has changed for solid waste, everything, all the way down to the compost facility and the yard waste facility. Yard waste facility is probably going to need to be registered, since we're taking all the loose leaves by curbside next year. We'll definitely exceed our 3,000 cubic yard limit. We'll register, which in the past wasn't a big deal, but now we need a monitoring well network. Fortunately, most of them are there. We'll need one, which is 7,000, and 12,000 quarterly to 12,000 per year to monitor quarterly. So it's not inexpensive. Once the new regulations came out, we were notified by the DEC up in Albany that we had to submit a compliant plan. And after some back and forth with the DEC, they said, forget the old one, the regulations have changed so much, just start from new. So they gave me a template or templates from a couple of approved programs, and over the next 3 years, between the DEC and I and the office staff, we put this together. This schedule is pretty much the crux of the entire report. The fancy tables at the back really don't mean anything if this isn't implemented. This is what the report is about. The DEC, their goal by 2030 is to reduce the output per capita for solid waste to 0.6. They know that's not reasonable, but that's what the goal is. Right now, we're at just over 5 pounds per person per day. And that's only going to get larger because our population is growing. I guess the good news is at the end of the 10 years, the per capita will be reduced by 20%, which is good. But the total output from Riverhead will still increase. One of the key programs that we'll be implementing is the organics recycling program. The waste stream is composed of 30% organics, so this is pretty monumental. Southold has implemented theirs, and we'll follow whenever the schedule dictates. Basically, we'll be collecting food scraps and bringing them to a recycling facility on the west end. I think it's in Babylon. So they have a permit to recycle organics, which we looked into a few years ago and got enough resistance where we backed off. But luckily, there's one up the island, so that's very helpful. The majority of this schedule is education and outreach. We've got to get better on recycling, and I think that's going to help. I think the outreach and education, which is where the recycling coordinator comes in, is going to help the per capita tremendously. And that's all I have to say.
Great.
Any questions?
So Drew, I'm glad you brought up the food to waste plant,
Uh-huh.
because I was involved with you, we went up and looked at it
Right.
and such, and it was it is a good thing. It would be nice to have one in Riverhead, not to have to go all the way up to, you said Babylon, right?
Yeah, but our recycling goes to Islip,
Right.
and our solid waste goes to the transfer station at Brookhaven.
But we liked, you did too, we liked the food to waste plant that we looked at, it was Connecticut, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's just that what happened was the location wasn't good. People pushed back because it was near a residential neighborhood, if we could find a location.
Theirs was, they did a lot of public outreach before they installed that.
And that was part of the problem, the people bringing it forward, as you recall, didn't really do enough public outreach to the community. But that's something that we may want to revisit at some point. I always thought it would be a good thing that we could put somewhere in the EPCAL core, but anyway, just wanted to mention that because it would be nice to have something like that. It was a moneymaker for the town, as I recall. Yep. And this looks good, Drew, impressive, thank you.
There is some talk of possibly one going in up at EPCAL. I know they're in the very early stages of it, but that is a possibility, and that would
That'd be
save
a
us
home
money.
run for the
Right.
North
Yeah,
Fork.
that would save us money in having to ship it up to Babylon,
Yeah.
but keep your fingers crossed on that. Drew, I know you're not gonna say it, but I know what you did here saved the town quite a lot of money. Because if we had to hire outside firms to do this, and this was a big undertaking for you and your staff to put this together. So I wanna let you know, we really appreciate what you did, what you and your staff did with this, because, it would be expensive to go outside and have this done, and like you said, it was 1999 was the last one?
1990 was the last
90.
approved. In 2009, we actually spent $60,000, and the consultant wanted another 15. And we wanted the comments addressed, the first round of comments, and the consultant wanted to get paid, and that was the end of the deal.
Right.
Well, to think that it's been 31 years. I mean, it seems like it does need to be updated, and yes, I agree with Tim. Really good work on all of this.
Yeah, the 1990 doesn't even resemble this new one.
No, I'm sure,
Just,
sure.
I mean, just this alone.
Everything has changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we definitely appreciate it, because we know, like I said, I'm well aware how much money you saved us in doing this in-house and taking care of it, so,
Just,
thank you.
You're very welcome. Just looking at the, our past try in 2009, I did not want that happening again. So I knew I could do it if the DEC gave me a hand, and they were very, very cooperative.
That's good, good to hear,
We like to hear that.
that they can be cooperative.
Yes,
They were.
We like to hear that.
this is an exception.
Like to hear it a
with
little
the
bit
DEC.
more.
And again, I just looked over the report, it's very professional, and I could see how much time you spent on it, and I gotta commend you for being able to do this for our town, and minimizing the cost, and this is what an engineering firm would produce, and
Right.
you as an engineering, one person with your staff was able to produce it and impressive, and, Joe, can we get this on the website so the public,
It is on the website.
Okay, it is, okay. Then we'll continue to put things on the website so everyone can be informed. Thank you.
Also, during this 10-year period, every 2 years, that document has to be updated. So this schedule could change completely in 2 years.
Okay.
We could add things, we could subtract things, whatever.
So
But,
it's a
You mean
fluid
You mean the
project.
schedule's is a little fluid?
yes. I mean, I would like it to be as fixed as possible when we start, but this is new to us, this is really new to the DEC, or fairly new to the DEC, 3 years old. So if it needs to be changed, they have no problem. They want us to do the best that we can so that we achieve their goals.
So we're gonna be their model?
I wouldn't say that, there's a lot of good programs out there.
There
Well,
is.
clearly you have a good working relationship with the DEC, which is always helpful.
Yeah, through COVID, we kept in contact last year.
Well, I'm sure that was helpful in all of this.
When did you say they wanted to go from 5 pounds to 0.6 by?
2030. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, something big's gonna have to change in
It's
the
not
meantime for that
happening.
to happen.
The recycling has got to get better. People
Yeah.
just, they don't understand it, and the education frankly is pretty poor.
You mean the people in the town not properly recycling?
People everywhere.
Well,
But
you know
yes,
what,
in
we
the town.
really, I don't think it's a bad idea. I'd love to have you come to work session and we could just review over it, because I think you're right. and it's gotten a little more confusing. Things have changed as to what you can recycle and what you can't recycle. So it never hurts for us to do it again in a work session and let the public know. Would you be willing to do that?
I have no problem with that. It's actually part of the program, getting the word out.
Actually, we also have a specialist on our environmental committee, Kenny Rothwell Jr.
Yeah, I'm well aware, because Ken's on the committee too.
Yep.
Or Ken.
Yes,
Testa.
Yes, Ken Testa.
and the notion of recycling, I think that our voters should have an input on it, and possibly we should involve our school district. I think it's a great idea. I think I'm gonna bring it up at the next meeting that we have with the school district.
They're
to,
actually-
encourage students to work and put this effort forward, and we'll talk about that. Great.
They're actually on the program, they're on the schedule. Schools are.
Things have to change. I think Brookhaven landfill is voted to, they're gonna, closing the landfill, capping it, they voted against expansion, I believe, so recycling is a necessity now.
Right, so in 2024, the ash landfill at Brookhaven, which takes all the refuse from Covanta, the incinerator up the island, and landfills it. Well, in 2024, that closes. And to be honest with you, I have not heard a lot of plans as an alternative to this, other than trucking it off the island, which is gonna be super expensive.
Okay, we gotta get on this.
You
Great.
guys have been good about outreach into the school district. I know because I've watched your Channel 22.
That's, for the most part, that's stormwater.
Yeah, the stormwater, I watched the stormwater segment with you and
Tim's
Ernesto,
favorite.
so. What?
Tim's
My
favorite.
I know, I watched it a couple of times.
So maybe we can
What a
get
nerd.
the participants in this stormwater to participate in the recycling. They're co-related.
That's kind of my intention. That way, because there are a lot of educational requirements in a stormwater program that we carry out all year.
Great.
And so, yeah, that could help that program as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Drew.
Everyone good?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Drew.
Want to add anything?
I do have
Huh?
can we come to announcements part, or?
I had announcements, but.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead
Do you
first.
want to make one? Go ahead.
Okay,
You-
yep.
you wanna
If I
make
can
one?
do a few things, I just wanted to say, 2 remarks, if I may.
Sure.
Together with my fellow volunteer firefighters, we mourn the loss of firefighter Jared Lloyd of Spring Valley, New York, whom on Tuesday made the ultimate sacrifice. I just wish we'd all take a moment to pause and reflect this week for his actions. He was only 35 years old and a volunteer firefighter. Jared's actions on this past Tuesday saved many lives, but tragically, while rescuing residents from a fire in an adult home, he became trapped and the building collapsed. We shall always remember his sacrifice and forever be eternally grateful. This week, fire departments from all over the state of New York will honor Jared and bring him to his place of rest, and may God always watch over his family. His name shall be inscribed in the New York State Firefighters Memorial, a memorial built for the bravest heroes here in New York State. I also just would like to talk about, I was shyly quiet in the last meeting, but a few months ago, Supervisor, you asked me to join you in what I thought was an impossible mission, to obtain vaccinations for the COVID-19 virus locally here in Riverhead, the most sought-after shot around the world. You put together a group of individuals to help you advocate to get the COVID-19 vaccines here in our town, but I don't think any employee in the town of Riverhead had listed on their resume how to set up a vaccination clinic. You created a standby list, and I continue to ask, what if we don't get the vaccines? And your only response was that we will get them, and we won't stop until we get them. It was an honor to work alongside you and watch your determination, but I must also take a moment to acknowledge your staff. Devin Higgins, Lisa Richards, Donna Sadowski, Jimmy Wooten, Chief David Hillemaker, Hagermiller, and the entire staff at our senior center in Aquabog. Given just a few days' notice you would get the vaccine, you and your staff began working through the late hours of each night, all through Saturday and Sundays. You never took a break. This was all for our seniors. You made over 1,000 phone calls to our seniors, but actually it was a lot more phone calls because many calls were unanswered and messages and return phone calls. but no one went home at 5 o'clock and everyone stayed through the weekend. I'm also thankful to our seniors who attended the clinic to receive their vaccination for their patience and understanding as we navigated through unprecedented waters. I never thought I'd see so many people happy to get a shot. Together you distributed over 1,100 vaccines in just a few days, more another approximately 300. I know your work's not done, and you shall continue to advocate for more vaccines until all the residents are protected. But let me just say this, working as a funeral director over the past year, I've seen the death and destruction of COVID-19, and I know that your actions save many lives. And so a heartfelt thank you to you and all your staff. Thank you.
Very nice, Ken, that was a nice statement, and I did get an opportunity to pop over and just, at the county center, I think it was last week when they were doing vaccines, and you're right, people were very excited. You know, it's giving everybody a much better sense of security, and the videos that we're seeing on the news and such of grandparents finally being reunited with their children has been really heartwarming. I do also want to mention that there are going to be vaccines at a pod in Southold, which is actually a close location for us in Riverhead. And those appointments, I think, went up yesterday. That's going to be on Monday, and that's at the healthnewyork.gov site is where you can sign up, and, you know, people can check and see who, I think it's still 60 right now, but we're hoping that gets loosened up.
We're down to 50 now.
And the age,
50 years
the
old.
recent,
Awesome.
Catherine, recently the governor extended the age to 50.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about.
Yes, and
Yep.
we also, unfortunately, the South Hole has completed all their appointments, but they do post these pods, they're gonna be
Right.
popping up continuously all over. And if you go onto the website, you'll be able to see when one's coming and get, register right at that moment. There are times that 2 or 3 hours, a certain facility, a certain pop-up, there's no appointments left, so.
And that did, yeah, you're right, I mean, that did pop up last night. They usually do fill up like within those few hours, or at least by the next day. And,
Okay.
but, I'd also like to make an announcement about the litter pickup, because I keep talking about the litter pickup. But I'm very excited because we have close to 100 people signed up to help out that day, but we're a big town, spread from Laurel to Wading River, so there is a lot of cleaning to do. There has been a lot of garbage everywhere, so the town website has our flyer and information right on it. So I ask that even more people sign up, and I want to mention with appreciation that Target and Lowe's both donated to the committee and to the town enough bags and gloves to last us for a while. So we're moving along in that. That's April 17th, and I hope everybody helps us make Riverhead as beautiful as we can. I want to see everybody out that day. Businesses, I'd love to have every business send a team out. I've had numerous businesses reach out to me and agree that they are going to send workers out that day and clean up their area, because sometimes it's the parking lots around our businesses and along Route 58 that need cleaning. And also, if people want to tell me streets that need to be cleaned, I've had people reaching out to me. John Reeve actually reached out to me because he used to work in sanitation, and he has seen a lot of areas that need cleaning up, and as soon as I hear from people, I've been adding those streets or those areas to our list of places to clean. Thank you.
Catherine, is there a starting point where everybody meets that day, or how is that gonna work?
So, we used to, like when I did the one at the shops at East Wind, I'd say several hundred people met there that morning, and we kind of had a little program kickoff and stuff. Because of COVID, we're not all gathering at one time like that. It just wasn't safe. So what we are doing is the day before on Friday, I think from 11 to 4, we will be here to give out the pickers and the gloves and the supplies that people need. And then the next morning, we will be here for people to pick up from 9 to 11 on Saturday. Oh, let me also say, the day before on Friday, you can pick up at 2 locations. You can pick up here at Town Hall from 11 to 4. You can also pick up at Wines by Nature at the East Wind shop, because George Eldey has always used to run runs the litter pickup that's a Brookhaven Riverhead combined one. So George will be having supplies, and then, again, as I said, on Saturday morning from 9 to 11, and then we'll give people locations, or some people may tell us, some people may want to clean up in their own neighborhood. So people will go out on their own during that day and then return the supplies. We definitely need the pickers back, because somehow the pickers keep going places.
Now, how does the trash actually get removed? Is it that they bring it to a location or put it at their own curb, or?
The way, what happens is, the trash is left along the road or at the sites, and Gio Woodson and his team from the highway department pick them all up for us. So thank you, good questions. I hope some of the board might come and help us pick up Riverhead, clean up our town on April 17th.
Great. I'm sure some of us will.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone. This concludes our discussion items for today. In a moment, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna ask for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the following matters. Matters surrounding the hiring of an employee, matters surrounding the change in salary of an employee, matters surrounding the hiring of an employee, matters surrounding the hiring of an employee, matters surrounding the hiring of a part-time employee, contractual, matters surrounding the continued employment of a professional services corporation, and on the legal end, matters surrounding pending litigation in the matter of Oak Hills Association versus Woodson. The second item on the legal is matters surrounding the potential sale of real property. Can I have a first and a second to go into executive session, please?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. And everyone, please be safe.